So let's have a quick chat about the difference between an amateur investor and maybe a top performing investor. And there can be massive changes in between the two. And a lot of it ultimately comes down to mentality. It's the parents' generation of trying to make money by saving money versus, I think, the new generation, which is very much you've got to spend money to make money. So the classic style of a top performer is that they use debt to their advantage. And they're thinking that they've got a limited amount of money, and so that the more they leverage that, the more they're going to get. So say, for instance, you had $100,000, you could buy a $100,000 property, goes up by 10%, it makes you 10 grand. Whereas if you use that 100 to buy you a $500 or $1 million property, and that rises by 10%, then that goes up by 50 or 100,000. So it's using debt to leverage what limited money you've got. Whereas a classic person is going to be scared of debt. They're just going to buy a home, they're going to pay it off, it's going to take them 25 years. Sure, that property's doubled and doubled again, but the top performer might have bought 3 or 4 or even 5 or 10 properties in that same time period. I guess one of the biggest things that top performers do is they just do it. It's that Nike ad, is just go and do it. I think there's a lot of people that will try and procrastinate. They've always got a reason not to go and do it. And I think a lot of people, they're trying to find the perfect scenario. They're trying to find high growth, low interest rates, easy to buy property, easy to borrow money from the bank, and high rents as well. And you're never going to get those 5 things at the same time. So the top performer is just going to do it and say, look, that'll change in time. Whereas the other guy is going to say, no, I'm going to wait for the perfect weather, and that's just never going to come around. Then I think one of the main things that the top performers do is once they've got a system, they've worked out what's going to work, is they just carry on repeating it. Rather than trying to find the next best thing, is if it's worked, just have more of it and they get back in. Whereas I think that average performer, they're always after that shiny thing. There's always got to be something more difficult, more harder. But life's pretty easy. It can be nice and easy to get it done. I think the top performers, again, they've got to spend money to make money. Whereas the average performers, I said it before, the parents' generation, you've got to save money and look after the pennies. Pennies look after the pound. And I think with the top performers, they're always looking at what's the net money that they receive. So they don't care if the interest rates are at 5 or 10%. As long as they've made a profit, it doesn't matter. Their wealth is increasing. Whereas I think the average performer, they've got the classic thing is what's the interest rate? What's this costing me? Is it tax deductible? It's all completely irrelevant in my mind. It really is, what is the net amount of money that you're making?